Okay, so from know yourself, then you go, I think the second guidelines, management skill sets, competencies and strategies. I will actually probably lead you in a little bit of how to stop procrastinating area. I think everybody is guilty of that from time to time, including myself, although that I'm perfect and everybody's perfect around us, but yeah.
Okay. Um, what I have suggested here for you, knowing that people quite frequently, when you get to procrastination, don't quite realize what it's all about. Why am I procrastinating? A lot of important things in the book come under two areas. One's communication, but the other is management. In the management, I've put it under procrastination itself,
Yeah.
the art of delegation, because often we should have delegated a task and we don't know how to do it properly. And so we get the task handed back to us, or it comes back in a way that we spend more time sorting out the problem, when in reality we should have delegated the task properly. And the final part of that little equation, and I'll go into the models there and the page numbers, but the important thing there is holding people accountable. So if I delegate a task to somebody and I'm a busy manager, a busy team leader, whatever level you're at, the most important thing is the person you've given the task to, you need to check whether or not they understand what you're asking and its importance. They understand when you want it. That's the SMART specific. By Wednesday of next week, I need such and such and such because it's a critical part of what we're doing in the business. That's specific. Is it measurable? Absolutely. I can measure it by the fact you deliver it. Is it achievable? Now, it's only achievable if you literally have a conversation with that person and check that they have the skill, the ability, the resources, and the willingness to do it, that there's something in it for them. So you then get back to the next one, which is realistic. Is what I'm asking of this person realistic? Now, if you've dumped on them and they've got tons of things and they're drowning or they're stressed, it's not a realistic thing to delegate to that person. All you're doing is dumping.
Yeah.
And the final thing is anything you delegate, if you want to hold somebody accountable, they must be prepared to get something from it. It's not all about you. That person must think it was important for me to do it and I've done a good job. So you've got to recognize that.
Yeah. Give credit where it's due.
Now, talking about, though, there's a very simple thing in the book, and I would suggest, I'll give you the number. Procrastination's in page 89 to 94. With three steps. Yeah, page 8. I love you looking this up.
Yeah.
Page 89 to 94.
Yeah, that's exactly. And you have the steps there. Pretty much. Yeah, recognize that you are procrastinating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now
and
go to page 96. There are 3 very simple steps to hold people accountable.
yeah.
That's page 96. Very simple. But what I'd love you to do, which is even simpler, go to page 231, right at the back in the communication.
Yeah.
231 to 233. There's a little model there called Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And it is a fantastic model. It's not mine, it's somebody else's. But I can tell you it is so simple to remember, and it is so simple to check when you are looking at what you're doing. Now, the final thing, which I'm going to give to you, Edward, because you've asked me at other times about if you are procrastinating, what should you do? The most important thing to do is set a to-do list.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, a to-do list and set the priorities. And anything, if this is really important for you, that you need to do it, anything else, either get rid of it, delegate it, or tell people you can't do it.
Yeah. It's really interesting and fascinating when you put the pen on the paper and the whatever is here, it starts to become structured on the paper. So regardless if it's a digital form or it's a pen and paper, yeah, it's really interesting what's happening in that brain of yours, and just realize, hey, my capacity, it's over here, over capacity here, so I have to actually delegate, or I have to even sometimes delay. And another thing that people should understand, procrastination is not like laziness sometimes. It's actually paralysis sometimes, because you have a lot of tasks or a lot of projects or so on. And at one stage you are just spinning your wheels because you don't have a structure in place.
The other thing that leads us into procrastinating, particularly in big companies, now we don't realize that the impact we're having on other people until it's too late and we've got a reputation. And what I mean by that is, if we've done a to-do list and we've got everything recorded out, often what we're doing is we've got far too many things that actually need to progress further, and we don't hand them on, but they don't ever go up our priority list. They sit there as almost, oh, well, I haven't been told yet. Oh, it's gone away. Well, it hasn't actually gone away. Somebody else has done it. Or if it didn't get done, somebody is saying, I can't trust Edward because he didn't do. And the more you get that reputation, the more that people won't trust giving you things. And ultimately you become, I'm talking about a big organization, you become dispensable because you're not actually pulling your weight.
Yeah, it's and also a good thing about the list itself, it's the fact that sometimes you actually have to choose your battle in the sense of, hey, if you have a list with 20 things, are all the 20 things important? So maybe you have to choose one and go after it. And maybe that one actually encompasses about 5 or 6 items from your list as well. Yeah, it's really fascinating. And I know it sounds very simple to do a list, but some people don't do it. So that was probably my first lesson when I did the course with you in 2011, and also coaching along the way. And that sort of become right now always, when I feel that I'm spinning my wheels, that's the first thing that I'm doing. And ideally you should have 1 thing or 2 things to achieve a day, and then it's not too much to remember.